After 11 years of marriage, Karla and Clifford's union has hit a rough patch. And though Clifford believes with a lot of love and hard work they can get back on the straight path, Karla is not so sure.
Your Honor, I'm not married to the same person I was married to 11 years ago. He's gained 35 pounds since we got married.
I love this woman. She's the love of my life. But the only problem I have with you is how you give me a hard time about my stuff.
Clifford is prepared to fight tooth and nail to uphold his wedding vows. But Karla questions, can this marriage be saved? Today on Divorce Court.
Come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lynn Toler presiding.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Karla White and Clifford White. Mr. and Mrs. White, you have been married for 11 years. You do not want to be married any longer. You have several issues that you have that you want to discuss, and you also have a financial matter you would like me to resolve. But before we get to that financial matter, Mrs. White, I'm going to start with you. Why do you think this marriage should end?
Your Honor, I don't feel like I'm married to the same man. 11 years ago, I married a man that made a lot of promises to me, and I feel like those promises have been unfulfilled. I feel like he's totally addicted to poker. On multiple occasions, he stayed out till 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning playing poker with his friends while I'm at home with our 4-year-old daughter. I'm taking care of her, I'm feeding her, bathing her. He's nowhere to be found. I call him, I text him, he doesn't pick up the phone, and I'm tired of it. This poker thing is totally out of hand. The other day I had a client that gave me a very expensive dining room set, and they said, all you have to do is come over and pick it up. I told my husband about it. He was nowhere to be found. He said, I have a poker tournament that I have to play. I can't help you. He couldn't help me. I had to get 2 of my friends. We went over with their 2 trucks. We got the dining room set, we packed it up, we moved it all by ourselves, brought it back to the house, moved the old dining room set out, moved the new one in, all by ourselves, without his help.
Do you live near a casino or something?
No, we don't live near a casino.
Well, where is he gambling?
He gambles at his friends, his buddies' houses. His probably 20 years younger friends' houses.
When he gambles, is it high stakes? Are we talking penny ante or?
It's $30 buy-in, $25 buy-in poker.
Uh-huh.
It's not.
Is he working?
He does work, but he does consider the poker part of his job.
Well, now let me ask. Before I ask that, Mr. White, why don't you tell me what part does poker play in your life, and is it as all-consuming as your wife seems to think it is?
At one point it was, Your Honor. It definitely was. I started playing with some buddies a couple of years back, weekly poker league at a friend's house. And I picked up some skills, and I started supplementing our income a little bit with it. I did step it up. Instead of playing Monday nights only, I'd pick up another night here or there. And there was a point where I was going out 4 or 5 nights a week. And
that was too much?
I didn't think it was, because I justified it, because my business was slow, we needed the revenue, and I did continue to justify it. But it definitely caused a rift. She gave me a hard time about it.
Let me ask you this. He said he was supplementing your income with his poker when things got tough. Is it true?
Sometimes he would bring money home. However, there have been multiple times that I caught him spending money online with poker.
Oh, you play online poker too?
Very little. A couple of times.
Very little.
I literally.
Just little taste. All in all, are you up or you down, do you think?
Oh, up. For sure. For sure.
Do you believe that?
I don't trust him, Your Honor.
Well, we see that. But what I would like to know is, economically, do you think that more money is coming into the house as a function of the poker than is going out of the house?
There have been times where I feel that he's brought money into our financial situation.
Right. Who's the primary breadwinner?
I am.
You are. Okay. And then
I am.
Okay. What do you do?
Well, right now I'm definitely the primary breadwinner. I've been coaching tennis for quite a while. My tennis business has been down, but I've had to take another job, and so I'm actually serving food in a restaurant. And right now my money's more consistent.
Is that true? I mean, he's holding it down, right? Uh-oh. You don't believe it. You're going to tell me something else. Is he working as a server in a restaurant?
He is working
true?
he is working
And
as
how
a
much
server.
am I working? I'm working a lot, aren't I?
Right now. This has only
And
been
when
going
my
on
baby
for 2
girl's
weeks.
going to sleep,
This has only been going
when my
on
baby
for
girl's
2
going to
weeks.
sleep, you got to tell her I'm at work.
Let me ask you
just
this.
like before.
Before we go anywhere else, Ms. White, I'm going to say this to you. It seems to me that it's a little difficult for you to give him credit. He fell into the gambling thing, as people tend to do, but he also climbed out. He's not perfect, but it seems like he's given it the good college try, and you have a hard time giving him credit for what he does do. Respond to that.
He just started in the restaurant business a couple weeks ago, and that was after I told him I was filing for the divorce, Your Honor.
When divorce court continues, why does Karla go to such an extreme?
When I was playing poker, she put a tracker on my phone.
Have you been living together for years but found that splitting up is as complicated as getting a divorce? Call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com or become a fan at facebook.com/divorcecourt.
Divorce Court is back with the case of Karla White, who claims her husband Clifford Trey White's addiction to poker is ruining their marriage. But is it Karla who's gambling on their marriage?
I hadn't played poker for 4 or 5 months, but she actually suggested I enter a tournament one time during the winter.
Did you do that?
We have a seasonal business where we do well. During the winter, when the money was coming in, the bills were getting paid, money from my business I started that we do work together, things were relatively smooth. As a matter of fact, I hadn't played poker for 4 or 5 months when she actually suggested I enter a tournament one time during the winter. But
Did you do that? Don't lie.
I suggested that you enter a tournament?
yeah, how much would it cost for you to buy in?
I did
Were
say
your
that.
exact
You
words. I don't think this is as much about poker it is about some trust issues. I mean, whether I was teaching tennis or when I was playing poker, I always got suspicious questions about who I was with. If she knew a tennis client or a tennis partner was attractive, there would always be these comments about her, me having a fling. Or when I was playing poker, she put a tracker on my phone. And there was
a lot of that's going around.
Yeah.
The tracker is
well,
a lot of
and I knew
trackers
about
on
it.
the phone.
I knew about it. And if I would be at a game and she would text me. If I didn't text her right back, but I'd have the phone tracker on. I'd turn it off because my phone would go dead in like 45 minutes. But I'd turn it on, turn it off. She'd text me, turn it back on. Da da da. But anyway, so one night I come home about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just a couple of blocks away, a couple neighborhoods away playing, and I get home and she's not there. And about 2 seconds later, she comes flying in the driveway. I know what's going on. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, she had left the house and gone to my friend's house and parked outside the house. And when I left to come home, a few minutes later, a young, attractive woman came out of the house.
Attractive?
Okay, she was a hostess that my friend hires to serve drinks.
Okay.
And I didn't even know her by name. Well, she naturally just assumed or made the statement that I had something going on with this woman, which was, she was pulling stuff and putting it on the front porch and telling me I was trying to put me out.
Why do you think he had something going on with her? What was he doing?
He told me that there's only men at the tournament. That there's always only men at the tournament.
I never.
Well, she was serving staff.
Very rarely do women play poker with us.
You say he watches too much television. You feel a bit like a widow because behind
Absolutely.
the poker and the TV, you don't get any time.
That's right.
Tell me about that.
Well, first of all, he sleeps on the couch every night, and he's been sleeping on the couch every night for the past 2 years.
Now, hang on. You sleeping on the couch every night for 2 years?
A lot of nights for the last 2 years.
Is this by choice or she put you out?
A little bit of both. It's sometimes, when she's giving me a hard time about not enough money, how much I weigh, how much poker I'm playing, this, that,
You
what
got a
I'm
problem
eating.
with his weight?
I do, Your Honor. I'm not married to the same person I was married to 11 years ago. He's gained 35 pounds since we got married.
I have not gained
I have
30.
I have a
that
picture.
means I was 180 pounds when we got married.
have
You have a picture.
I have a picture of when we got married.
I was definitely not less than 195 pounds then.
Look how much thinner you were
I was.
in that photo.
When divorce court continues, is Karla asking too much of Clifford?
You kind of know, though, when you have a job, you can't be home and at the job at the same time. Do you think Karla is too hard on Clifford? Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers. Call 1-800-282-1991 now.
If you would like your case heard on Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com and follow us on Twitter at Divorce Court. Divorce Court returns with the case of Clifford Trey White, who says his marriage to Karla would be perfect if she would simply stop nagging him. But has Trey pushed Karla away by tuning her out?
I feel like he's lazy. He lays on the couch. He watches his movies, his TV when he's not working. He's got 20 hours of shows recorded.
My question is, why has he been on the couch for 2 years?
Because we don't get along. He says that I nag him all the time. Yes, I'm going to get on to him. I feel like he's lazy. He lays on the couch. He watches his movies, his TV when he's not working. He's got 20 hours of shows recorded on the DVR. 20 hours a week of shows recorded on the DVR. Every time I go to watch a show, we used to watch shows together. I used to think, you know what, if you can't beat them, join them. Okay, fine. I would go and I would watch a couple shows with him. And now he's got 20 hours on the DVR recorded. He's on the couch. I have a picture of the couch. This is a picture of my couch. My 5-year-old leather couch.
Her couch,
$600
not our couch.
Actually, I bought this couch for you.
I know you did.
This was
for
actually
me.
a birthday present to him because he ruined the other couch too from sleeping and watching TV on the other couch.
She didn't talk to me about spending that money on that couch either. She likes to spend money without talking to me about it.
You still like her, don't you?
Oh, I mean, when she's not giving me a hard time.
All about it, aren't you?
Absolutely, absolutely. I love this woman. She's the love of my life. But and I tell her this all the time, the only problem I have with you is how you give me a hard time about my stuff. I mean, I'm familiar with
What
my
stuff?
You know, I need to lose some weight. I know that.
You don't get to keep the same guy that you married on a physical level. You just don't. I mean, my stuff has shifted, dropped, moved over, bubbled up. He needs to love it just where it is, because there's nothing I can, you know what I mean? I work hard to stay in shape, but there's some things, you know, gravity is gravity is gravity. So you got.
And not everybody can look like that either, right?
It's not like he's Jabba the Hutt over there. He's just a little heavier. You got to get a man a break. You have a daughter.
We do.
How old?
We have a 4-year-old.
Is he good with her?
He's very good with her.
She-
When he's
she
around,
she loves
when
her daddy?
he's around, she loves her daddy. When he's around, he's very good with her.
Yeah.
And she loves her daddy.
You spending
But
enough
he needs
time
to be
with her?
around. He needs to be around more.
And
Are
I've
you
been
spending
blessed
enough
in.
time with her, Mr. White?
Am I?
Yeah, you.
Oh, no doubt. There's no doubt. You know, I've been basically self-employed for as long as we've been married. So I do a lot of work from the home, whether I'm booking tennis lessons or our seasonal or winter business. And I'm very blessed to have been able to put my daughter to bed, see my daughter during the day, feed her breakfast, feed her lunch. I mean, I'm around a lot with
Is
her
he
daughter.
doing that?
He was doing that. Yes, he was doing that. I have been working.
He was.
He
He's
was
not
doing
now?
that. Now that he's back in the restaurant business, he's not around. It's very much like when he was out playing poker.
You
till
kind
3
of
or 4
know, though, when you have a job, you can't be home and at the job at the same time. You can't complain about him not bringing home money, and then he goes out and makes money, and then complain about him not being home.
He has
Do you know
been
what I'm
working
saying?
there.
When Divorce Court continues, has Trey really given up his poker habit?
By the way, my husband played a poker tournament last night.
Did you play a poker tournament last night? Think Karla is too hard on Clifford? Call 1-800-282-1991 to vote now and see if America agrees with your opinion. You'll also receive some valuable offers. Call 1-800-282-1991 now.
Divorce court returns with the case of Karla White, who wants to know, can her 11-year marriage to Clifford Trey White be saved?
But let me ask you this. After all this time, what was the turning point that made you believe that this marriage was no longer viable?
Your Honor, I've been feeling underappreciated for years. I work my jobs. I clean around the house. I do the yard work. He says he helps, but he really doesn't help. I feel that when I'm working my 2 jobs and I'm doing yard work, and my husband, by the way, played a poker tournament last night.
Did you play a poker tournament last night?
Did.
Did you win?
No, I didn't. First time I've touched a card in a month.
And how much did you spend on the poker tournament?
$100.
Last night. So he hasn't stopped.
Because I tried to get her to have dinner with me last night.
I'm-
She wouldn't have dinner with me last night, so.
I'm with you.
I never
Let's
got that
talk
idea.
about the $600 you want for the couch. Tell me why you believe Mr. White should reimburse you for the cost of that couch.
Your Honor, I believe that he should be in the bed with his wife where he's supposed to be. I don't believe that any man should be sleeping on a couch, no matter what. I think every marriage is going to have its issues, and I think that both parties need to be willing to resolve those issues. But when a wife comes to her husband and says, hey, I have these needs, and I need you to be there with me, and he chooses the TV over me,
Not having it.
that's not right.
Mr. White.
And I think he needs to buy me a couch.
Mr. White. If he buys you a couch, will you let him back in the bed?
As long as he's not sleeping on the couch all the time watching TV.
So you say he just falls out on the couch?
Your Honor.
Yeah.
I'm not attracted to
Mr. White, what do you have to say about paying her $600 for a couch that
Well,
you
she bought the last one. She can buy the next one, too. No,
Now, Mr. White, that's not a statement of a man who wants to get back in the house.
No, I understand
You're
that.
You're shooting yourself in the foot here.
It is so much drama. There's so much drama. But no, I would love, when she's giving me a hard time, it's hard for me to go lay down next to somebody who's giving me such a hard time all the time about whatever it is. So I like sleeping in the bed.
You're
Well,
escaping. Yes.
I like to be lying down next to my wife. I mean, come on.
I got it. I got it.
Your Honor,
I would rather be there.
Hey. We're all done. We're all done. I know what I'm going to do, why I'm going to do it, and how I'm going to do it. I'm looking at the problem. The problem is you. He was a problem, but he fixed his problem. Everybody has something wrong with him. Everybody gets caught being foolish on some occasion. He got a little more foolish than most, but he fixed it. If I were to spend all my time thinking about the 6 or 7 years during my 24-year marriage where I didn't like my husband, we'd never get along. He couldn't get in the house. But that's not what it is what happened, and when you get better, and then you deal with it from that day forward. I think he doesn't want to be in the bed with you because you an all-day pest. You nagging him and bothering him, you can't get over anything, you want everything, and you're still hot and resentful about the stuff that he didn't used to do, so you can't let him be a better man because you're still beating him up with the worst man that he used to be. Don't be a fool, don't be crazy. You should keep this man. It's just, he's doing better. He's trying. Having said that, I will say this. If you two can't manage to get it back together, which would be a terribly sad thing, you got a 4-year-old at home, your problems are not that deep, I'm not going to give you any money for the couch that you bought in the process of you being married and everybody uses it and sits on it. I'm sure the 4-year-old rolls all over it and this and that. He can't be charged with that as an amount that he owed you. So I'm not going to give anybody anything. There will be no recovery in this matter. It is so ordered.
All right. Parties may leave the courtroom.
I think our marriage can be saved. I think the judge made it clear that we just got to work on our own stuff and take responsibility for our own actions, and that we'll be okay.
I don't know that my marriage can be saved. He's going to have to really keep showing me that he's willing to change. He is going to have to completely stop playing poker and show me and not just tell me that he can change.